Hey, what's going on, you guys? Jordan over here at the Movie Den. I hope you all are doing well. So today what I wanted to talk about is the 1980s, at least when it comes to horror movies. Now, I think that the 1980s are kind of where, in my opinion, the popularity and, arguably some of the greatest horror films of all time were in the 80s. Now, they started kind of in the 70s, mid to late 70s. And then, of course, they ramped up really in the 80s. And then after that, they started to kind of decline into the 90s. And they've kind of gone up and down since then, but nothing as prevalent and as big as the 80s. So that's what we're talking about. I'm going to be going over 10 of my favorite horror films from the 1980s. Now, these aren't ranked. And I will say also, I do have to own physical copies of these. There are some that I absolutely love that unfortunately I don't have, physical copies of them at the moment. So those unfortunately cannot make it into this video. Let's go ahead and get started and not waste any more time. So we've got this movie from 1989 by Michele Soavi, The Church. This is the Severin release. This movie, so I just recently got this not too long ago. I got this kind of the 2-pack they have, really. It's The Church and The Sect. The Church, I absolutely love. I like the story behind it. The practical effects in this movie is crazy. And then near the end, this just goes completely off the rails. It has great scenery. There's a couple scenes in here that just really creep me out. But I thought this movie was fantastic. I loved it. 1989's The Church by Michele Soavi. So we might as well stay in the vein of Italian horror. And this is also in 1989. And I got this from the Cauldron release, The Houses of Doom, from Lucio Fulci. We do have The House of Clocks. This was a really great movie, especially if you like movies that deal with time. This is a really, really great one. What I always thought was cool about all the movies in The Houses of Doom is they were all made for TV that were too grotesque or weren't tamed down enough for television at the time. So they didn't broadcast any of these movies. But this, out of that set, is my favorite, The House of Clocks. It's like, I guess you can call it the first one in there. But this was such a good film. Kept you guessing, and I love the way they dealt with time in this movie. I think you guys will really enjoy it. But there you are, 1989's Lucio Fulci's The House of Clocks. All right, so I got my Italian horror itch out of the way. So this next one, I've talked about this so much. This is a fantastic film. Another one from 1989. This one is done by Scott Spiegel, and it is Intruder. This is a cheesy, fun, campy movie. It takes place in a grocery store. And what I like about this is it knows what it is. It has fun with it. You got Scott Spiegel, who co-wrote with Sam Raimi for The Evil Dead 2. Sam Raimi and his brother is in this movie, the Raimi brothers. You also have a cameo from Bruce Campbell. I have a good time every time that I watch this movie. If you guys haven't seen it, you really need to check it out. And of course, I'll link all these down below for you guys to check out. And also on Amazon, it's not this limited edition one, but they have a really nice Blu-ray set on Amazon. I'll link down below for you guys as well. But there you are, 1989's by Scott Spiegel, Intruder. So let's shift gears a little bit. We're going to go back to 1980. This one is a slow burn movie. Some people think it's boring. I completely disagree. But you have 1980s, The Changeling, but it's got the legendary George C. Scott in this movie. It's about a father who loses his wife and daughter in a tragic accident, and he goes and he rents a beautiful mansion to get out of town to kind of restart his life. And some mysterious things happened in this mansion that he starts to discover and tries to uncover what is going on. So it's a good movie. I really enjoyed this one. Like I said, it is a slow burn, but the music in this is phenomenal. Love the music in this movie. Highly recommend 1980's The Changeling. So this one, I couldn't talk about the 80s without at least getting this one in here. This is 1982, and I'm going to get a lot of heat for this. A lot of people like the sequel to this, or the next one in the series. This one is my favorite, however, Friday the 13th, Part 3. This is the 3D one, and but this one, I don't know, it always stood out to me ever since I was a kid. For some reason, this one in particular was my favorite. I don't know, it could have been I was enamored as a kid of the 3D effects at the time that I thought it was so cool. The harpoon shot I thought was amazing. This is the one where Jason does finally get his hockey mask. So a lot of people like 4. 4's an excellent movie. I think it's written. I think it's a better film, but I personally, there's a special place in my heart for part 3. So that's why I wanted to put this one on. But 1982's Friday the 13th, part 3. So this next one, you guys probably already know this one's going to be in here, but we got 1984's Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Robert Englund's debut as Freddy Krueger in this movie. You have got Johnny Depp's very first acting role in this movie. Guys, this movie just started a cultural phenomenon, especially in the 80s, even into the early 90s. Freddy was everywhere. Freddy was the man. And it's still going strong to this day, not as in terms of movies, but just the love for Freddy. And you really got to give credit to Robert Englund himself because, of course, Wes Craven masterfully did this movie, but I think if it wasn't for Robert Englund bringing the charismatic character to Freddy, it wouldn't be as popular as it is. You could not do A Nightmare on Elm Street without Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. And what I think this does so well is that it's not your conventional, a killer is going after you in physical form in front of you. This guy haunts your nightmares and you can't escape dreams. They're natural. It happens to everyone. It's not like you can escape Camp Crystal Lake or you can escape Haddonfield. You're stuck with your dreams. Nothing you can do about it. That's why I think it's so effective about this movie, but absolutely love it. 1984's Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now we are going to be talking about 1986. This one is technically a remake, but it is so well done. We have David Cronenberg's The Fly, the one with Jeff Goldblum. This movie is so good. Jeff Goldblum, Gina Davis, even Cronenberg himself makes a cameo in this movie. And it's such a great body horror movie. This one is such a good one, and I think, honestly, it's one of Jeff Goldblum's best performances, in my opinion. I'm not a massive Jeff Goldblum fan. He's kind of the same character in every movie, but something about this one, he does such a good job. It is so well done, and Second Sight, if you're watching my video, put this out on 4K with a nice limited edition chunky box set. I would absolutely love it. You guys are doing the Bruden scanners, do The Fly. I would die happy if we got that. But anyways, there you are, 1986's The Fly. So guys, this next movie, this is one of my favorite franchises that started in the 80s. But we have 1987's Hellraiser. Clive Barker's Hellraiser. Guys, this movie just hit the world by storm when this came out. It just dealt with so many topics, but man, is this a great movie. The practical effects in this, even Hellraiser 2 is phenomenal as well, but you can't beat the first one. This movie, on the surface, it's a great, just kind of gory film, but at its core, it deals with a lot of pretty heavy stuff. Highly recommend this movie and highly recommend this set. If you haven't gotten this set, definitely get it. You're going to get the first 4 movies, and this set from Arrow is amazing. I love this set. This is the Pinhead one. But anyways, we're not here about the packaging or the release. We're just talking about the movie today. But there you are. You've got 1987's Hellraiser. So guys, I got 2 more I want to talk about today. This one we're going back to 1980 again. And this one, they made 2 versions of this movie. This one isn't the favorite of the writer of the novel. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. 1980s, The Shining by Stanley Kubrick, Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall. Such a great movie. And you know what's interesting? It's just Jack Nicholson actually does something kind of, if you ever watch this movie, it just kind of gives you just that weird, kind of eerie, uncomfortable feeling. I'll tell you why. Well, at least one of the reasons why. If you watch throughout the movie, Jack Nicholson does something. And usually actors try to stay away from this, but this was intentional. And I don't know if this was Nicholson's idea or this is Stanley Kubrick's idea, just to really get under people's skin and to feel that and to get that uncomfortable feeling throughout the movie. But what he'll do is he'll kind of be talking, just doing whatever in the movie. Then he'll they catch it. It's a split second. He'll glance and look directly at the camera, look directly at you. It's almost like a fourth wall break. Like he's aware of what's going on.
Well, that just happens to be exactly what I'm looking for. I'm outlining a new writing project, and 5 months of peace is just what I want.
Watch it if you haven't seen it. You'll catch it. It's throughout the entire movie. But that's another part as to why I think this movie is almost a perfect movie in my opinion. But there it is, 1980s, The Shining. And if you guys are wondering where I got this from, this is a hard slip I got from Blockbuster Box Sets. I'll link his YouTube channel and his website down below if you want to pick these up. And in here fits perfectly. You got the steelbook. But there you are, 1980s, The Shining. Now, guys, we are down to our last one, and I'm sure you guys are thinking there's been a glaring title that I haven't talked about yet, and it's a lot of people's favorites, and it's one of mine too. It is a John Carpenter film, but we have 1982's The Thing. Kurt Russell, fresh off of doing John Carpenter's Escape from New York, he came on board with him on this one, and guys, this is my, oh man, it goes 78 Halloween, and then probably this. It's really hard. I got to give it to Halloween, but this movie right here, you want to talk about practical effects. This is like the king of practical effects when it comes to film. Such a great movie, alien movie in the snow. This is the perfect movie to watch, in my opinion, post-Christmas, January, still in the winter time. Excellent time of year right now even to watch this movie. Such a good film. Now, they did do a remake later on, and apparently it was supposed to be a prequel from what I understand. It's been a long time since I've seen it. It ends right where this one begins. But guys, this one, if you haven't seen this one, I don't know what you're doing. You need to stop what you're doing. Either pick this up, find it on streaming, watch it. You're going to love it. It's a phenomenal movie. The way it ends, you don't know who's who. That's all I'm going to say. Such a good film. And then, of course, this is also a Blockbuster Box Sets slip right here. And inside, I've got the 4K right there. But guys, this is my final one, number 10, whatever you want to call it, 1982's John Carpenter's The Thing. And guys, that's my list. That is my 10 favorite horror movies from the 1980s. Now, again, these are movies that I personally own. Like I said, there are movies out there that I really, really love that if I could put in here, I would. However, I don't own them, so they don't get to make it into this list. But anyways, guys, let me know down below. Do you guys agree or disagree with any of these titles? Did I miss some that you think I should have put in? And yeah, guys, that's all I have for you all today. You guys take care. Have a good one.